What's good, brother? What's good, brother? Hey, I share the guy. Much love, respect, bro. Keep growing. Hey, you know it, brother. Much love, fam. I hope you're keeping yourself growing too, my friend. You know, being authentic, integrating, spreading this beautiful energy. You know, being expressive, expressing your truth. The world needs that. The world needs that. That's crazy though. You may have seen, I mean, you may or not have seen, I had a video I just posted like a minute or two ago. But basically, pretty hyped. I had my first lucid dream last night. That is the first one I've had since I was like 15 years old. And it really taught me a lot about almost like the lucid dream studies that I've been reading about, you know, almost like the philosophical nature of how there's two core worlds of thought in lucid dreaming. And it really resonated because it really just affirmed my awareness of what the one world of thought confirms, which is basically that lucidity, that is accessing a lucid dream in your waking or your dream state, is actually a natural state. You know, that is, we basically, as human beings, we are naturally meant to lucid dream when we intuitively align ourselves and philosophically align ourselves. Very simply, it's like when we spiritually integrate ourselves and we integrate lucidity in our waking world, unconsciously our brain then just allows ourselves to unlock and align with lucid dream. And obviously it's not that simple because metaphysical practice and anomalies are never simple. But simply, I have not been consciously practicing lucid dreaming for the last 2 weeks. But weirdly enough, my unconscious awakened a lucid dream because I was at a peak level of lucidity and presence in my everyday practice, just my everyday life. So basically, the core thought of how, you know, the two worlds of thought in lucid dreaming is very simple. It's that one world of thought is lucid dreaming, you know, can be awakened from a very intellectualized approach, you know, where it's very conscious, we're interjecting prospective memories, that is planting memories in our subconscious or thoughts within our future memories, or doing things like induction, where we're, you know, using the power of suggestion to influence our subconscious and doing reality checks and all these different things, right? But then there's the other world of thought where you don't have to do any of that. You basically just have to understand on a deeper philosophical level what lucid dreaming is and how to unlock it on a subconscious level and an intuitive level, which also just involves living, basically embodying what the lucid dream practice is trying to teach you without trying to like basically trick your mind or create this like obviously I think it's probably a mixture of both, but as a guy that wasn't consciously doing like reality checks and trying to do all these lucid dream practices that books recommend for weeks, and then I just happened to somehow stumble into a lucid dream. And it's very funny because in the dream I genuinely was in a place where I basically was in this dream realm where I was in my old house. I was actually at a party. It was apparently it was my birthday. It was a birthday party for me and my twin. And I remember I was presented with a cake. And I remember this cake said my brother's name. And I remember thinking to myself, where's my cake? You know, it's both of our birthday. You know, where's my cake? If this was the real world, there would be two cakes, or this would be a cake for me as well. This has to be a dream. It was like that was my dream trigger. Was like, or my lucidity trigger was like, this has to be a dream. You know, I'm celebrated as well. I'm honored in this birthday sense. And then I woke up and I was like, oh, this has to be a lucid dream. Which is very beautiful. And then immediately then I just went lucid. I started to like do things where I just like pushed. I changed some of the nature of the dream. I did this thing where I like, for some reason, pushed the air, and then the people around me just kind of floated off, and then I changed the dreamscape. I like morphed. Bless. Bless, Xavier. Welcome, Sand. Welcome, friend. And if you're new to the stream, welcome. Phone is ringing. Oh, all right. Remind me of Heath Ledger. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, brother. I love this hat too. You can never really see it. You can only really see it in the pure light, which is actually kind of maybe part of the beauty. It's like this hat, you can kind of make out, it looks pretty chill, right? It seems like a deep brown, but in the full lighting, it's actually a deep, dark red. It's like dark garnet auburn. It's a beautiful hat. It's like acid washed, distressed. Why, thank you. Why, thank you. Heath Ledger. That's high praise. Yeah, I love Heath Ledger. Rest in peace, Heath. Yeah, I actually work in the film industry, so I get that compliment a lot. People are like, whoa, you're like Heath Ledger looking guy. I love Heath too. Beautiful human being, phenomenal actor. I actually thought it'd be fun to just like learn Heath Ledger's. I mean, I actually love Australians. Like, I love everything to do with Australians. For some reason, they're just so charming and enchanting. So I think it'd be fun to like learn a Australian accent, like get really good at doing an Australian accent and just basically speaking like Heath Ledger for fun, doing a Heath Ledger impression. Would be great, mate. Yeah, exactly. It'd be, I don't know. I don't want to do it right now because I probably botch it. But it's like, yeah, bruv. No. How does he go? He's like Heath Ledger's very subtle. Like the Australian accent's very, I'd say unsubtle, but Heath Ledger has such a like beautiful way of like balancing it. Yeah. However he speaks. And then I have to speak words. I don't know. I don't know. I'll get it down. I'll get it down. You're the guy with the cool tuned guitar. Yes, sir. That's probably me. Yeah. Yeah, no, the other week actually, Shadow Guitars. I created, yeah, an alternate tuning. Draw B split with like a dropped D and G sharp. I don't know. I did some weird tuning that I created. And yeah, I was playing that for like 4 days straight. And that was great. That was good times. I do lots of trippy stuff with music. I feel very grateful. Now I got a cool hat, so I've leveled up as a musician. That's how that works, right? Appreciate you, brother. It's interesting because something I've been reflecting on because basically I've been experiencing a bit of what's it called, wrist tendonitis, almost like a very minor kind of like stiffness in my wrist here. Maybe it's from handstands, maybe it's from guitar, I don't know. Usually I've experienced like zero pain actually. Ultimately, like I've actually, been playing guitar for a long time, doing lots of like very active stuff, and I very rarely experience pain actually, especially in my wrists. And what I've been reflecting on is, I was sick the last 5 days, right? And basically, I also, I sort of, I was deviating from doing cold plunges. So I haven't been able to do strength training, movement training, or mobility training, and I haven't been doing cold plunges the last 3 days. I mean, I did do a cold plunge in my bath, but it wasn't like a river cold plunge because I thought I was getting an allergic reaction to it. Anyways, what I'm saying is, it's actually bizarre to think. There could be various reasons for this. Maybe I did some sort of weird pull when I was doing handstands. I don't know. But the idea is, the fact of the matter is, what I'm seeing is, when I was regularly doing, movement training, I was circulating my energy, doing tons of like strength training, handstand training, alongside doing these cold plunges every day. That basically enhanced my ability to circulate blood flow, deliver oxygen to my joints. So basically, that is partly what allowed me to say, play guitar for like 5 hours a day and never experience an injury. And it's only because I was sick for a period of about 5 days, or I wasn't able to go to the gym, deviated from doing cold plunges because I thought that was a part of what was making me sick. And my wrist, flared up. Fortunately, it's pretty minor. Like honestly, I can still play guitar, I can still play piano. I just want to make sure I'm not doing like wide triads, like weird barcodes, which I probably shouldn't be doing anyways, but so food for thought. Like I speak of this very openly. When you train your body. You train your wrists, your hands. You actually train your whole body. And, doing cold plunges is a part of that. You basically very successfully circulate and integrate the things that would maybe cause injuries, like chronic injuries, things like, your wrists maybe getting tightened up, or as it is, like it's like a tendonitis type thing that I think is like, an acute onset. I'm just gonna, probably not try to do complex triad bar chords the next day or two, and it'll probably go away very quick. But it comes to show, like the mixture of cold plunges with the unique style of training that I do quite consistently, literally allows me, it enables me, because some days, especially when I'm doing these streams, I'll be playing guitar like unapologetically with zero pain issues, not even stiffness, for like 5-6 hours at the least, and I'll experience nothing. So it comes to show that style of training is very effective. Because I feel in the realm of like strength training protocols, it's basically what I'm speaking of is what's the word? It's basically preparing yourself, setting your body up for success, and what's the word? Preventative care. It's preventative care. That's what I'm emphasizing right now. The power of preventative care. When you're consistently engaging in healthy training and training protocols, you can basically bypass a lot of the pain, the injuries that you'd think, oh yeah, you're playing 6 hours a day, you should be in pain. No, you probably shouldn't be. You probably just aren't doing an intelligent training protocol. Now, of course, we all have different bodies. Some of us have genetic predispositions and etc. But I think pain should not be a normal thing. That is like the chronic pain that, is avoidable. It's preventative. Yeah. Love your giggle. Thanks. Thank you, dude. Getting a bit weird, but thank you. Thank you. I appreciate the sincerity. Can you play The River Flows in You? Wing Gang. I have no idea what that song is. Yeah. Yeah. Hi there. Hope you're well. Need hat combo. Nice on the piano. Thank you, brother. Thank you. I had to click and say hi because I resonate with the title of the medium. Hell yeah, brother. No, that title really touched my soul. Beautiful Osho quote. Osho is just such a visionary man that he was. And I feel like Osho is like an endless portal of like poetry, philosophical quotes that are just gold. Like he's a very interesting fellow. I revere him, And also, I also recognize he's a little bit off the wall bonkers, but he's a good guy, I think. I hear ya and see and hear it. Cold plunges, but I guess when you don't have anemia and you're hot, it's more enjoyable, like winter sports calisthenics. Sure, yeah, cool. Yeah, dog, I think there's a lot of misconceptions about cold plunges. A lot of misconceptions, even just physiologically. Sure, if you're a woman that is experiencing chronic anemia, you have not successfully integrated, iron. Maybe you choose to be a vegan, vegetarian, which is amazing. But what I'm simply saying is there's not a lot of true justifications for being like deficient regularly to a point where you should say negate doing something as life changing as cold plunges. That's to say, you shouldn't jump the gun. You shouldn't be like, okay, let's drop everything, go for a winter cold plunge in the freezing river or something, or the ocean for like a minute or whatever. No. You gotta like, your nervous system has to be conditioned very slowly. And of course, honor your body, honor your vessel. Man or woman. Woman, they report, there's apparently a lot of studies that do report, things like testosterone. Testosterone plays a role. If you have high testosterone, if you're thriving, full of testosterone, it may be a little easier. And when you do cold plunges, you actually get testosterone, quintessentially. But what I'm saying is, a lot of people, I think, have a lot of misconceptions on how cold plunges work. And I think the simplest way that I can try to articulate this is you have to make it a steady, gentle, organic progression. You should not pretend that cold plunges are this thing that it's like, okay, let's drop everything, let's go force ourselves to do a cold plunge. You will have to push yourself out of your comfort zone. That's an extremely important part of doing cold plunges. But I've been doing cold exposure for about 3-4 years now. I've been doing Tentative cold plunges, cold showers every single day for about 3.5, coming up 4 years. And yeah, I did 40 days in a row and it worked very well. But anyways, all I'm simply saying is preventative care. Preventative care. So cold plunges sits in that category, but what I'm simply advocating is if you're a musician or you desire to, have strong uh, ligaments and joints, intelligent training protocols with preventative care goes a long way. This is kind of what I'm advocating right here. What do you think of the new Jim Carrey thing? Dog, I know so little. I know so little about the new Jim Carrey thing. Isn't it like Jim Carrey? I think I read one meme that was like he hired a clone or something. He hired a clone that went to the Oscars or something or won some award thing. And people thought it was him or people thought he was like a clone or something. I don't know. Yeah. Same. It very much intrigues me. Amazing. Yeah, I'm just here to throw out some awareness, share some of my perspective as I do. Even though he doesn't watch other streams much and rely. Ambrosis from Mimosis. Frankly, I'm in love. Huh. I mean, cool. Again, kind of weird, y'all, like, come on. I'm just a human being, but thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Appreciate the support. I have a mix of both, okay, hormones. I see. I see. Ah, okay. Okay. Well, let's be real here. Like, I'm going to be very transparent. It doesn't matter what hormones you desire to engage, I think there's everyone equally, people of a dysregulated, neglected health experience neglect equally. Basically, a dysregulated health does not discriminate. Let's be real here. Like, doesn't matter what you identify or man, woman, this, that, hormones, in an excess optimal, you're probably not fully optimizing your health, myself included. Like, let's be real here. You got to like really, really apply yourself. You got to really think outside the box. You got to really take a conscious effort to honor your health. So what I'm simply saying is, yeah, a dysregulated health does not discriminate. Doesn't matter what sort of spectrum of the human experience you're in. Doesn't matter how old you are. I mean, maybe if you're like a young kid, it's different, or very old. But I'm telling you, as a guy that's studied to be a trainer, that's devoted like 16 years of my life training, being an athlete, like there's more you can do. There's more self-awareness you can practice. People make excuses. The human mind is very apt to make excuses. And again, I'm not trying to almost throw salt at people, but this is the same for everything, right? People don't seem to really understand the nature of like actually applying yourself, of actually being like, oh, if changing your life is really just a difficult decision away, like a decision to really apply yourself, to really just jump up with, wait a second, I'm just getting in my own way. Let's actually start to, get your shit together. Most people don't want to hear that. They just don't want to take responsibility or accountability for their own neglected health. And yeah, I don't know. That's a nice little ultimatum, though. Thank you for sharing, brother. Afraid of finances, lack of finances. I was interesting. Just to walk outside or minus. Okay, very good. I see. Interesting. Blah 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 blah. It was supremely woke. Man, I'll share some honest thoughts with you guys. Truthfully, I don't give a crap about lots of mainstream news, celebrity type stuff. I like Jim. I think Jim is a pretty cool guy. He's probably also borderline a little bit insane. Like, let's be real here. He's a sane dude because I think he's actually achieved some sort of spiritual integration. I think he really has. He's really proven, I think, with his actions and his embodiment that he's on a spiritual path. But, for those of us that understand what that actually means to be on a spiritual path, it's not easy. It's not fun. It's not like all sunshine and rainbows, right? Jim is probably going through some like harrowing, very real, like strife, some very real tribulations. And I don't know. Like, I don't know. He was an actor. Like, Jim is a Hollywood actor, right? He's been a Hollywood actor for most of his life, right? That is really a very difficult pill to swallow. So he's probably trying to shed those layers of that. He's going to these Oscar shows. I don't know if he was cloned. Okay, apparently the world of thought was people are saying, oh, that wasn't him. And there's reports actually that people express that actually there's new there's new information about that wasn't him. So everyone was right. That wasn't him technically, but he was there because he, I think, brought someone as like a body double. This is basically, I'll be perfectly honest, guys and ladies and gentlemen, this is what I think happened. Jim, because he's a very comedic guy and he also doesn't give a fuck, he basically just hired somebody. He was like, all right, so we're going to hire you, dress you up to look exactly like me, make a body double. And he's like, wouldn't it be entertaining and amusing to basically make this person go and see if people even notice it was him? He probably just did that. He was like, I don't want to go to the Oscars. I don't care about all this weird, empty material bullshit. That sounds like Jim, varying Jim's character. And then he decided, he was like, you know what? I'm going to hire a friend or someone to body double me and see if people notice. To almost like poke holes and poke fun at the whole Oscar show. This is not, this seems very in character for Jim. So I think he was doing it very intentionally. He wasn't trying to cause some weird uproar. I don't think he's doing anything outlandish. He's just, he's being Jim. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Truly so that is discriminate. A lot of maintenance and easy to follow such. Exactly. You get it, leading. It's I just want to articulate that boldly. It's like people can make excuses like all day long, like, oh, but my orientation or my ethnic background, or I don't think people make that excuse a lot, but they can be like, but it's my age, but it's my this, that, the other. You can make excuses all day long, but I'm going to tell you without a shadow of a doubt, there are people that have overcome these excuses that you're like, oh, but what this or what about that? And it's actually a positive thing. Like, this isn't me like coming down on people and being like, blah, 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 blah. It's like people realize that there are people overcome incredible odds to honor their health, like extraordinary odds. And then you have people that are just like, almost like complaining or victimizing themselves, where they're not stepping outside of the obvious limitations they're setting for themselves. It's basically like there are people overcoming insane odds, and you're telling me that you can't get up and, go to the gym because of X, Y, Z. And again, we all live in our personal reality. I get it. Our nervous system, our psychological state, it's a very intense variable, but people just gotta, yeah, they gotta get up and apply themselves. And I think your health is the most noble thing to do that too. It's a very important thing. But yeah, anyways, back to the regular programming, ladies and gentlemen. So that watched a documentary about cloning. Class 9 is illegal. I had a feeling that's where you're going, man. Cloning. Let's be real here. I don't think there's any realm or world where cloning someone is ethically anything. It's a bad idea. People should not be cloning anybody. But in our weird, uh, what's the word? Hyperfixated AI, technologically oversaturated world that we're entering into, of course cloning is going to be a thing. Of course all these weird advanced technologies are going to come into play. I don't think there's any ethical, again, application for something like cloning. It's a weird thing. Humans have been genetically engineered, not even genetically engineered, we've been genetically birthed into this realm in a very extraordinary, miraculous way. I don't think genetic engineering is a good idea at any rate. But I don't know. That's my thoughts. So that. Interesting. Ambivalent. Right. You look like Usher back in the day. Nice. Thank you. That's high praise, Jack. Especially from you, I know you're a fan of that sort of scene. But nah, bro, I'm no character. I'm no character. I'm a dude with a hat who's my own character. That's just facts. When has ever been regular? It's Usher of blah blah blah. I have no idea who Usher is. It's cacao. It's cacao, my friend. Just down in cacao, playing piano. Life is good. Out of curiosity, for Jack, just join us here. What's your thoughts, my guy, about lucid dreaming? Like, what's your perspective? What's your thoughts? If you have no thoughts, that's cool too. But I'm curious, what's your thoughts, Jack, about lucid dreaming? There's so much that goes on we wouldn't believe if we're right in front of our face. Yeah, facts. Yeah. Welcome to 2026, my guy. Welcome to 2026. You know, we're in an ever-changing, rapidly evolving time. Like, let's think about this. Like, if you think about this, right? How fast is technology and our awareness of advancing technology, how fast is it evolving? To a point, I think it was something like, what is it? I don't remember the exact numbers. In the last 10 years, I think it's like 30x. It's increased 30 times, if not more, maybe 100x in the last like 20, 30 years. Technology is basically rapidly accelerating to a point that it's going to become clearly insane. It's not ethical of dollars of that. What? Watch music video Usher. I'm gonna do that, bro. I'm gonna check out this Usher music video because I'm a fan of clothing. About 7 or 8 of those hats. Only 2 hats. Cool, man. We all strains of several aliens, according to one theory. That's a theory that I believe. It's not far-fetched at all, truthfully. I mean, how else can we explain it? Like, it makes so much sense, right? Like, paired with the Stone Age theory that Terence McKenna speaks of, how we as human beings, our brains have expanded so rapidly, and I think that's clearly because psychedelic intervention, but also we were probably genetically bound with some sort of like alien species. And even that's what actually Terence McKenna is advocating is he thinks one of the ways that extraterrestrials basically enhanced the human experience was they basically implanted the technology that is magic mushrooms. They implanted the technology that is psilocybin in this earth. Like it was like you think about it. So this is his theories. It's there's no more brilliant way than to advance a species than to organically imprint, like a mushroom, a technology that just naturally enhances their mind. It's like you're creating a bio evolution. You're bonding with them on a biological level. So they created maybe this technology that is psilocybin. Perhaps they created this on the earth. It grows now naturally in our ecosystem, and then it evolves the human, experience. It evolves and adapts us for the better. And all they had to do was just like create this technology and then bring this to this planet. So that was maybe the alien intervention. At least that's Terrence's theory, and I agree with that theory. It makes perfect sense. Strains of several of that. Usher's blah. Right. Lucid dreaming. Did a video about lucid dreaming. Okay. It's a light theater. Okay. Sick, dude. Curious on your thoughts about a dreaming this morning. It was a light theater. Huh. It was okay. I honestly have no idea exactly what you're talking about. So, judged a talent show, lucid dreaming. Yeah, maybe articulates or elaborate what you're speaking of. Because I have no clue. Let's see. It's a training ground at night for how reality works when we're not asleep. When we're not asleep. I used to do all the time. And that's with Wobes, an astral projection that stopped in the late 20s. Huh. Training ground at night for how reality works when we're not asleep. I think you mean asleep. Interesting. I sort of get the gist of what you're saying. Yeah. Let's get some oxygen to my brain. love how piano just becomes like this dance once you become very fluent at it to some degree. Yeah, man, these comments are a little bit all over the place, I must say. I think maybe we should collectively just take a breath and, yeah, let's collect our thoughts. Yeah. I'm fine with a few terrestrials. I don't need extra on the side. Okay, sick. We create from the point of our thoughts, birthing forms reality. Just like lucid dreaming. It's a practice for when awake. Yes, sir. No, I get what you're saying now. I understand what you're saying. I think there was a few words that sort of got mistyped. That's okay, brother. Nah, but the study of lucid dreaming, quintessentially, as Andrew Holisek likes to express, is we as humans, we reinforce non-lucidity all the time, right? We have something bizarre and weird happen in our everyday life. Maybe it's psychedelic, maybe it's astounding, maybe it's a sign from the universe, and we don't question it. We live in a non-lucid state often, at least most of us do, by default. We reinforce non-lucidity. So yes, the key to penetrating the ability to lucid dream on a philosophical and fundamental level is to awaken your regular everyday life with lucidity. And actually, this is what has translated for me. This is why I had a lucid dream last night, is because I believe deeply that I've been living extraordinarily lucid as of recently. It's like I've been really like penetrating the veil, really just engaging deeply in my present experience. And yeah, so the answer is clear. Yeah, it's like this is actually explained many times in the book of Lucid Dreaming by Andrew Holisek, is with meditative practice, with conscious practice, with anything that allows you to penetrate the present moment with lucidity. So you could do this by being like, is this a dream? Is this a dream? Am I inside of a dream right now? Looking around, being conscious, being present. There's so many different ways to achieve lucidity. But the key is no matter how you do it, if you can achieve lucidity in your waking world, you can acknowledge this is illusionary, this is a dream. This will translate into your subconscious mind awakening within your dream state, which is lucid dreaming. P.S. The most recent video was kind of fancy. Sick, dude. I'm not familiar with the context of fancy, but I'll take that. High praise. Thanks, Doc. Not a word I'm familiar with. An impactful lucid dreaming. I'm trying to define if that was. And an impactful lucid. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Doc. Dreaming. I'm trying to define if it was that. Again, huh? But then I'm asking, who and which Anaki is God, or higher self avoid my God, and your higher self is God for you, etc. All right, let's unpackage that. So you're talking about like, is the ancient Egyptian God, is this the true, is God? And then oversold my God, blah, 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 blah. I don't know, brother. I don't know about you, but I understand deeply what capital G God is. A lot of us misconcept that. A lot of us try to associate. We're all divine beings. We're all extensions. We're roots of God. Yes, there are other entities like the, Ra and maybe all these other different sort of beings that exist. Like, it's almost like if you try to think that, oh yeah, this is my God, your God, Anaki, this, you're probably not thinking big enough. You probably don't understand the greater construct of how basically the energy, beings, and universe and what we are made of as the raw mode of consciousness. You just don't really understand the fundamental truth of how we embody and experience this kind of God, if we're going to define it, consciousness. I don't know, God's a loaded word. Most people don't understand what it means, and, they don't even understand what words mean, so, can't really blame them. Do you mean music is oxygen? Also confused. I don't know. I'm not sure if you're just mistyping, brother, but I have no idea half of what you're saying. Did you say host some kind of coffee, hour, symposium chat? Somewhere else like Patreon? I was speaking of something of that nature, yeah. And Patreon, I'm more so going to release content. And yeah, maybe I'll go live on Patreon. Apparently you can go live on Patreon. That excites me. But I'm going to, basically externalize at some point. I don't know. At some point, I'll hop on Patreon. They basically have very unfiltered talks. Very unfiltered talks. It's going to be more intimate, surely, for those that are on the Patreon. And it will basically be about, metaphysical philosophies, psychedelia, things like Changa, things like psychedelic realms. Basically learning to expand your consciousness on a deeper level in all the ways we can't really talk about very openly on YouTube, which is okay. My YouTube channel here is devoted to basically connecting and bridging the worlds between the sacred context of music, becoming a musician and learning to basically enlighten yourself, for lack of a better word, with music. That's kind of a core part of this channel. And thank you, Brenda. But Patreon will be like the unfiltered. Because I'll be honest, if I'm being really clear here, or very forthcoming, I can get very unfiltered. Like I can go infinitely deeper about the things that I think are really important to express. We can talk about like really I mean, not necessarily for everybody, it depends on where you're at in your own, developmental journey and your integration, but very simply, yeah. I love to speak in a very raw and unfiltered way. If I were to speak to like friends of mine, I have friends that I've run into every once in a while. I'm like, it's good to see you, brother. It's happy to see you. Let's like talk about life. Like let's go deep, and we'll just like go off. We'll go into like, life-changing stuff. And I think that's important to embed, is we should be authentically expressing ourselves. We shouldn't have to filter ourselves on a fundamental level, especially with ourselves. If it's like you're in a place where like, I want to just hold space for myself, you should feel safe to hold space for yourself. Whoa, that's not the note I want to go for. It's kind of funny. I was like reflecting on this yesterday, where yesterday I think I was like kind of juggling a lot of these like conversations of like talking about like metaphysical philosophy, some psychology, some astrophysics of sorts, and all these beautiful topics, right? And it kind of struck me. I was like, wow, this seems like a lot of people, they're deep diving. Maybe they're just new to deep diving. They're maybe new to like pulling these threads and holding space for a very like intense, authentic discussion about, I don't know, everything. And I kind of realized, I was like, man, you know what? This alone, this itself, this is important. It's like sometimes people can get overwhelmed with like, wow, I'm not really, used to holding space for a genuine, authentic conversation, like a genuine, authentic interaction. It's almost like a foreign entity of like, oh, this is what it looks like when people are speaking their truth and sharing like real, authentic thoughts and truth about, important things in a very integrated, balanced way. And this made me realize that this is a very important thing to experience. Of course, the best place to experience that is in the real world, but most of us, I think a lot of us, for whatever reason, we filter ourselves. We really don't like let ourselves unapologetically think and feel and understand the world critically. And it's like, it's almost in the simplest, right? If we look at like how a lot of people, we talk about small talk, right? I actually don't mind small talk in some degree. I understand social nuances, but I'm the kind of guy that I deep dive. I'm very good at like, creating launch off points for men and women, for all people. I'm good at like creating like an authentic conversation. But I think a lot of people, they're like drowning in the weird, autonomous, monotonous, whatever that word is. They're drowning in that like, boring sort of complacent realm. Like, wow, where's the authenticity? Why aren't people speaking their truth? Why aren't people being real? Well, you got to find that stuff. You got to set the tone for that, right? You got to learn to actually like hold space for that. And yes, it's like, it sucks to like live on a surface level place where people aren't being real. People aren't, aren't really just like being real. I think too, I'll be perfectly honest, I maybe have the one thing going for me is I'm an artist, right? I'm a performance artist. I've been an artist for a long time. This is synonymous with everything I'm talking about, right? Been breathing this whole time, hence I'm already alive and lively, but I'm not live streaming. But this is not a dream. Very nice. Yes. Hey, that's presence. That's presence, dog. Appreciate you sharing that. And my video, wow, you're not familiar with the word fancy. I just think it's not a word I contextualize. Yeah. Not a word I really contextualize. Yeah. God is more of a relationship. Okay. Nice. Nice. Again, yeah, I don't think God is not. I don't know. I think, let's be real here. Like, I'm going to reiterate this. To set the boundary in the stream as I do is like things relating to religion, like capital our religion, where people are talking about this, that, the other, things about politics. This is not what these streams are about. This is not the tone I want to set in the stream. And yeah, you know. So we can talk about philosophy, we can be open minded, we can talk about music, we can go deep, but I just want to make it very clear that I want to sort of deviate from people trying to focus too heavily about like quintessential models of religion and politics. That's not the place. I'm sure there are places for that, but that's not here. Yeah, it's not the place we're creating. But I agree, though. I like, again, the philosophical. If we're getting philosophical, we're going to be open minded and really like open hearted about these things, then sure, share your thoughts. God's within each of us, and with the Anunnaki story, I'm just posing the question of how this Anu God factors into the larger God as we know him. Wow. I'd say to that, ethereal justice. I'd say to that, it's the Anunnaki. Okay, I'm not familiar on a in-depth level with the Egyptian gods, but from what I understand from the Law of One, the relationship that was formed with the person that channeled Ra, Ra, the sun god, the Egyptian god. It appears that our relationship with what we identify as God in relation to what Ra is, from what I've read from the Law of One, I haven't read the entire book, but I've read like 60% of it. And what the Law of One, I feel, tells us about, at least if we can interpret this from, this relationship this person's formed with the Egyptian god Ra. Ra is a very, what's the word? We'll say benevolent individual. He's not trying to be your quintessential model of a god. He's not trying to be like a weird, morally restrained or like one-dimensional god. It seems that the relationship we can interpret from the Law of One, that Ra seems to be a very authentic presence. He basically is very clear with the limitations that we as humans have. He's very clear with the limitations of perception that we have, and he's very like authentic, very forthcoming with the way he's expressing himself. So I feel like he doesn't align or fit the quintessential models of what we might think, the regular sort of misconception of God is. Ra is an ancient god. He's an individual that's very good at basically communicating in a way where he's aware very actively of how much we as humans are limited in our ability to understand, if that makes sense. I think that's really a core thing. It seems the Egyptian god Ra has a very ancient intelligence, which obviously I assume most, beings, entities of sorts would, but from what the Law of One tells us, he's trying to give us universal truths that are basically ancient universal truths that have repeated. And he's not trying to sugarcoat it. He's not trying to morally or ethically attach it to like, you should do this, you should do that. He's basically like, this is how it is. This is how the nature of ancient Egyptians experienced these things, and this is the way it is. Yeah. True, we are is crucial. Yeah, dog. It is. It is. I mean, I feel blessed to be a dude that just knows myself, right? I'm cool with expressing myself. But a lot of people, they struggle deeply because they've lost that connection to themselves. They don't really know who they are. They haven't discovered that yet. And they're just desiring on an unconscious level to figure out who they are. And in this world, I think it's a dangerous thing because it's very easy to hijack your perception and your perspectives if you don't know who you are. If you're not rooted in who you are, people can tell you this, that, the other, and you're like, oh, is that who I am? And maybe you'll believe it, if you don't truly know who you are. It's even more important than being the kind of loving, and if it makes sense. Parties, be you. Yeah, facts, just be you. Just be you, dog. If there's anything that I think, people resonate with, and half the time I'm just doing it, not even trying, right? I'm just gonna be me, right? I don't really care to put on some sort of attire or performance. This is literally, you're receiving the exact same version of me outside of the stream. I've clicked on this button, nothing changes, right? Maybe I'm slightly less unhinged and weird, but that being said, this is the same way I hold space for myself, is the way I hold space for these streams. Clearly, I mostly don't. Only filter is on true coffee maker. Huh. All right then. For sure, we do our best a lot of times. It means civilized and polite to a fault. Yes, sir. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's our journey though, as humans. We gotta return to the ability to penetrate our conditioning, and part of our human conditioning is the people pleasing complex. How do you penetrate that? We could go on a story about that for a long ass time, but you basically just got to not give a fuck, right? You just got to be like, this is who I am, world, and be like, this is my truth, and just fucking lay it on there, right? And not try to give a shit about pleasing people, right? Because that's the whole point. Is like, it's like, if we look at it very simply, right? We won't go too deep on this, but think about this, right? Especially as a man in this world, because this is very important. But as human beings as a whole, if you're trying so heavily to please people, you're just like, oh man, I really care. I want to make this person happy, that person happy, this person happy. Eventually, you're making nobody happy. You're not pleasing yourself. You're not pleasing this person, that person. Everyone's just like, whoa, what's happening? What's going on here? You've basically just like imploded in yourself in a psychological sense, just because you've never really realized that you're allowed to offend people. You're allowed to not care what other people think. Like, you're allowed to. You obviously, we live in a society. It's good to have integrity, moral values, be ethical, and, be an overall happy person if you feel that way authentically. But you're allowed to be whatever you feel, right? If you're feeling whatever you're feeling, you just gotta own it. You gotta express your truth. A lot of society kind of teaches us to just like suppress ourselves, and that's kind of like full circle. All of what I've been expressing is like, if you're an artist, like for me, basically what I do, I'm asking the majority of the time, if I'm making music, if I'm freaking navigating any of the waters of performance art, it's literally all about me literally giving myself permission to unapologetically express myself. Like, if I'm not unapologetically express myself, I'm probably not on the artist path very successfully. So yeah, it's good to express yourself. You want to just whatever that it is. Let's refresh the comments. I think I'm a little bit behind. Mundane monotony. Yeah. Yeah, dog. That's the word. Monotony. Monotony. I don't know. It's there. You know what I'm saying. Spin facts. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's a good authentic. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you. Look at me just getting love bombed. Yeah. Thank you, though. We are made to create. I want to create a shirt that says that. You should do it. You should do it, dog. You should create clothing. We all should. Anyways, let's refresh. I'm very behind. Yeah, there's just lots going on here. Ra, the Egyptian god. Yes, I'm sure another way we have tried to label his god force. Yeah, the Egyptian. Yeah, that's so wild to think. Like, I've never made that direct connection very directly. It's like, I just, Ra, the Egyptian god of the sun. He's literally the god that is embodying the sun, like the energy of the sun, who's giving us these truths from the Law of One. Very beautiful. Like, what a beautiful thing. I want to learn more. I think Anu was Sumerian. Yeah, very nice. Do the context and contextualize it. Yeah, okay. Brothers of that, Egyptian sun god. It's just so cool. Cool. Nice. That's high praise. How does the sun communicate with us? Wow, what a beautiful question, Benny. Well, the sun is a ball of energy. The sun is a ball of energy. It is nurturing life. It's like father, son is what we spiritually sometimes connect to. We have Mother Earth, Father, Son. The sun is the father energy. It is giving us life. It is giving us energy. So how's the sun communicate with us? It's always communicating with us. We're eating food, we're receiving the energy that's been imbued in the food from the sun, right? It is like almost like in the most quintessential sense, right? When you do qigong, right? You're moving chi, you're introducing heightened awareness to chi, to energy, to whatever you want to call it, right? In the context. Chi is everywhere, according to the ancient Taoists. Chi is obviously in the elements, it's in the sun, it's in food, it's in the universe, the atmosphere, it's within us. So basically, yeah, the simplest answer is how does the sun communicate with us? It communicates through energy. And energy is everything. Our emotions are energy. Everything, energy is the raw form that is beyond. It is like the woven threads that is circulating through us. It's what we're breathing. It's what we're consuming and translating through our bodies. It's like the secondary attunement. It's the secondary channel that basically associates and connects to everything we do. So yeah, we're absorbing, the sun and connecting and communicating with the sun, or it's communicating with us. When we see and we look into the sun, we experience light. When we eat food, it's just like inherently the sun is everything. Like it's communicating with us always, and we're communicating with it. At least, sometimes. At least this is, I don't know, I've never thought about that, but that makes perfect sense. Yeah, just to follow the status quo of society. It's this warmth of rays. Exactly, yeah, exactly, yeah, yeah. On point. Thank you, thank you. Do me a favor. Depends on what? Yeah. First addiction. Sick. Messiah. I don't know why I'm saying that word, brother. Care to elaborate? Polly Shore's most beautiful music. Do you know Chabad? Chabad. I'm actually not familiar, no. And lol, that one word you keep using. Amen, non-religiously. And that one word you keep using. I don't know, what word am I keeping on using? I do say the word sometimes. Of course I say ashe, because this is my moniker. That's like, I'm very spiritually connected to the energy of ashe, which is what this channel is called. I think impressing people is more of the issue. Yeah, yeah. That's why, again, that's the key, mom handles. Being willing to offend people. That's the key thing. You gotta be willing to offend. It's a weird parallel. We think, oh, if we're afraid to offend people. No, 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 no. People need to be offended sometimes. It's a strange parallel. Again, I'm not saying go and be unhinged and offend people all day long. That's probably toxic. But you gotta have like an unconscious inkling to not care if you offend people. Express your truth. Be authentic with yourself. Be authentic, a penetrating, authentic force of nature in this universe, even if that offends people. That's what we're talking about. And this is a very masculine trait, right? It's like, you think of it. Men in this world, often, historically, we need to do things that are sometimes turmoilic, sometimes very uncomfortable, if not often. This is not even about human beings, right? This is just masculine energy in the universe. It's a directional force, right? It's like moving forward. Masculine energy is like moving forward in nature, in the universe. It's just a force of nature in the universe. It's directional. It needs to move forward, right? And how does one, if we embody this in a human experience, how does a man who's maybe embodying masculine energy, or a woman if they're embodying that, but we're going to use this example of man, they have to be willing to move forward, even if it's at the sake of, yeah, in some complex offending people or having resistance and abrasion. It's like, no, you gotta realize how to do things for the greater good, which is basically, again, that's what it's about. So it's about being willing to offend, for the greater good. you know Hello, mate. Do you know how to play Danny Boy? I do not. No. No. Everybody's miserable. Well, that's a very loaded statement, but thank you for sharing, brother. I know what you're saying, though. You're probably not wrong. Everybody is fragmented. Everybody is confirming the illusion, or they're confirming the confirmation that they're miserable. You know, maybe they're miserable, maybe they're not, maybe they're happy. I don't know. I'm pretty happy. I'm a pretty happy dude, pretty often, more than not. But of course, I'm not everybody. But the idea is, if we really observe, the quantum theory that exists, that reinforces that we are what we believe. Everything is and is not the second that you believe it is so, right? That's like a philosophical piece of it. Because, everything's a neutral entity. So yes, there's a realm where you are miserable. You're embodying, confirming everything that you associate, and are creating a bias towards life that is a miserable experience. And then there's the opposite parallel, where you're actually reinforcing the idea, you know what? Life is beautiful. I'm happy. I'm a happy, grateful, blessed individual. And guess what? Both parallels exist all the time. Like this is the way it is. So everybody's maybe miserable based on how they're reinforcing the idea that they're miserable, right? This can shift at any time. People are allowed to do that. That's why the world is the way it is. Yeah. Hello, mates. Yeah, thank you, not Hana, thank you for being here, my friend. Eminem. Eminem D May. Eminem DMA. I don't know who that is, bro, but shout out Eminem. Eminem's a dope human being. I know, right? I'm glad as night with the pips. Sweet. Man, I'm so behind. I'm trying to catch up on these comments, but they're just like, they're coming in, man. Ball of energy. Energy is great. A beautiful question with a pretty answer. Very nice. Thank you, thank you. What does the son communicate with our daughter? Do they bicker and tussle? How does the son communicate with the daughter? What do you mean by the daughter? What do you mean by the daughter, my guy? I saw you a little while ago and you talked about vivid dreams. Vivid dreams. I've talked about vivid dreams frequently, Floyd, yeah. I mean, I had a video I just released on my long format about my lucid dream that I had last night, which I kind of started the stream with, if you guys have been here for the entirety. I basically had my very first lucid dream. If you're familiar with the stream, I've been studying lucid dreaming about the last 6 months. I've been reading about it. And the funny thing is, I haven't been integrating my lucid dream practice. So if you're familiar with what I've been talking about, when you study lucid dreaming, the key thing is you're supposed to do reality checks. You're supposed to do dream checks. You're supposed to study your dreams. There's a lot of conscious study. I just have not been doing that the last 2 weeks. I think I need some more cacao. But yeah, I have not been doing the last 2 weeks. But I lucid dreamed. I had my very first lucid dream last night in a very almost dramatic fashion, where my brain literally, at this pivotal moment, I was like, oh wait, I'm inside of a dream. Oh, I'm lucid dreaming now. I basically, in the dream, I told myself, I don't know why exactly I did this. I told myself, I'm lucid dreaming right now. And then suddenly, boom, I was lucid. I don't know what the fuck. Something happened, but some part of my subconscious mind just knew. I was like, I'm lucid dreaming right now. And then suddenly, bang, I was lucid. I could morph reality. I was pushing around the dimensions of my dream. I was pushing, almost doing trippy, dramatic Matrix type stuff. I was just going whew, and then suddenly the beings of the dream would just boom, they'd float backwards like a force of energy just hit them. It's very fun. Yeah. Father Sun, Mother Earth. Who is the moon? Well, astrologically, everything has significance. But the moon, I don't think has. Because this is the thing. Human beings, we're humans, right? We're maternal. We're patriarchal, right? We see things as we see things like human beings do. We see father, mother. We see birth. We see life, death. That's not how the universe is, but that's how we perceive them. So, yeah, we can say spiritually, the sun is like our father, the earth is like the mother. But surely, in the moon could be any context we apply. These things have much deeper significance. So I don't know. I guess long story short, I'm yapping off and I don't know. I don't know what the moon represents. Something beautiful though, let's be real here. We love the moon. Most recent in the live. Most recent in the live. Wow, you're not defensive. Sick. I mean, you don't know me. Yeah, you don't know me in the full. when I'm like, living my most authentic truth. I'm obviously. I like to be very. I'm a very happy dude. I like to spread love, but I have zero problems with standing up for things that I believe in, for being very overt, being very direct. This is what I do, just the way I am. Music practice advice. Cringe clothing. Hey, thank you, brother. High praise from the cringe Lord himself. Thank you, dog. Thank you so much. Music practice ahead or advice. I would love to give you some music advice practice. Yes, sir. So, music advice practice. Whoa. Let me really think about that. Basically, if I were to give you any advice about how to consistently practice, you need to honor the exact dimension of music that lights your soul on fire. You need to honor the exact piece of music. So whether this is a technique on the guitar, a song from an artist, maybe it's playing a different style of instrument, maybe it's like a pan flute, a piano, maybe it's even about putting down your guitar because you've been fixated on it and just going and doing something else, right? But what I'm telling you is, in my personal experience over the years, because this is the thing, is when you're talking about how to practice on the guitar, right? Most people might tell you, okay, you just gotta practice an hour or two a day or practice scales for an hour. Maybe, maybe, maybe. But most people, I'll be perfectly honest, this is my experience as a 11, 12, 13-year-old when I was told that advice. And, I went to Lon McQuaid when I was at that age. So I didn't really have much choice. I had my guitar teacher being like, hey, practice this. And I'm like, okay. And like, let's learn the bench sevenfold. Okay, let's do this. But you will burn out. The key is it's a marathon, not a sprint. So if we're talking about how to practice consistently, because that's the thing, this is the advice is if you want to practice anything that you consistently will practice. Practice anything that attracts you to pick up the guitar or engage in the piano or pick up anything musically, instrumental wise that inspires you. Because the key is if you are doing anything that you're practicing that doesn't inspire you, it burns you out creatively, right? You pick this up, you're like, okay, I'll practice a scale because my music teacher said pentatonics, okay, jazz theory, let's go. And then you burn out in like 2 months. You're like, wow, I hate the guitar. Wow, I'm bored, I'm burnt out. If that happens, that's the key thing is you want to learn to think about it's a marathon, not a sprint. You're not trying to just sprint through the process of learning the guitar, right? You want to play the long game. You want to develop a healthy, passionate, organic relationship with practicing. So what I'm telling you is you want to find the elements of music that attract you. If that's playing with new chords, beautiful. If you wake up one day, I'm like, oh, I want to play harmonics, beautiful. If you want to learn the piano, because you're like, you know what, I want to take a little sidestep, beautiful. You got to learn to listen to what you're attracted to, what you want to practice. Don't try to be like, all right, well, I'm going to practice because everyone tells me that I got to learn this, scale or music theory dimension. Maybe. Once you're 6, 7 years in playing guitar, maybe less, maybe more, sure. Once you understand yourself, you're a more established musician, you're like, oh yeah, like I'm not going to get mentally or creatively burnt out. And that's going to take a while. Then do whatever you want, push yourself to a point of destruction, learning, scales all day long. But I have to tell you that the most important thing is consistency, consistently practicing things that you love to practice. Do that and you will successfully engage in progress. Yeah. 3Kel, how rude. How can someone be rude? I don't even know what homie said. Yeah. Must have skipped him. Can you play Numb by Linkin Park? I cannot. Love the song Jolly, but no, I have no idea what that song is. Yeah. Okay. Aristotle. Very nice. Happy. Ba-da-ba-da. Very nice. Yeah, man, I can't catch with these comments. I think leading's just on a roll. So happy all the time because I don't waste my time becoming anything else. Go. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. You're on the right path. Because most people, yeah, their misery is probably linked to trying to be someone they're not, trying to be someone else and go on a path that's not uniquely theirs. You just gotta go, bro. I had one last night. So I was with a character who I've told you about before, I believe. Wow. Hell yeah, dude. I'm all about sharing dreams, bro. Like, I love this shit. Dreams are super dope. Daughter's opposite of son, of course. Okay. Well, I think we've lost the metaphors in its entirety. Yeah. Because the sun, like the sun, S-O-N, is not the metaphorical inference. Like, we're talking about the father and the mother, those that birth. The sun is interpretive on a whole different realm. We could go on some metaphorical thing, but that's not what we were at about that. Sick. So happy for lucid dreaming. Oh, for me, lucid dreaming. Yeah, thank you, brother. Wow. And honestly, I just literally low-key forgot about it. I was literally like, nah, man. I'm going to read about Joe Dispenza, quantum, this, that, which weirdly enough, I think that may have played a role. When you unlock other sort of metaphysical things, surely that is a huge part of lucid dreaming. So maybe it was that, I don't know. But I basically forgot about it. I was like, I'm not going to try to lucid dream. I'm just going to put it down and do my own thing. And then bang, it just happened. So I was like, whoa. Are you that guy that can dance? Are you that guy that dance? Are you that guy? Probably, bro. I'm a tutter. I had a channel that I was teaching people dance, but yeah, bro. I am a dancer. You got me there. I had that kind of experience when I was young in my 20s, my first lucid dream. A girl kissed me and I said it wouldn't be right then. She said, it's okay, you're dreaming. Cool, cool. That's a beautiful dream trigger, brother. Yeah, I had lucid dreaming when I was at age 15 for about 2 months, every single day. It's very powerful. And yeah, this was the very first lucid dream, and literally since I was like 15 years old. So, yeah. Baseball. I think you're lost, baseball bat. Yeah, this is not the stream for you. I got a sense of people and said you're very similar in life, believe it or not. Interesting. I know in your other live stream where you dance always at truth. My other live stream where I dance always. I don't think that exists, brother. Yeah. I mean, I am a tutter, but I don't have a stream where I dance always. Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if you're probably mistaken with someone else, but that's cool, bro. I hate the hat. Thank you, Jared. Thank you, Jared. High praise. High praise. Because no one gives a fuck. This is a stream, brother. This is a stream on YouTube. Primarily, we're doing this here. We're playing piano for you. And of course, just connecting with the community. Yeah. Here's my brain. Thank you for sharing your... I don't know, I'll just say it. I think you're just revealing that you have really bad taste, Jared. That's, yeah, I'm glad I'm not you. And that's all I can say, bruv. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. But I mean, keep being a hater and you might just get that 24-hour timeout badge. Gotta love that. Except when you fall asleep in dreams and essentially experience nightmares. That's crazy, bro. Yeah, that's not a thing I experience actually very often. I actually don't have nightmares. Basically ever. Yeah. It's not anymore. Learned guitar at 14. My dad's friend showed me all the chords. Like a G, C, A minor, D, E minor. Nice. Back to G. Yeah, chord progressions, dog. That's a great way to do it, brother. Not AI. Could do. Just I could do. Huh. Very nice. Very interesting. That's high praise, I think. I don't know who the fuck the lead is. One second, I'm gonna get a cow. Yeah. Very nice. Cool. Interesting. Hola, one second. Yeah, this actually was kind of cutting off the blood flow. Just a little bit, just a little bit. Listen to reading comments. Hey, bro, that's part of my charm. Is I do what we don't usually do. Thank you, dog. It's a part of myself now. I love this hat deeply. I actually, before I had my lucid dream, I actually dreamt to myself wearing this hat. Like I dreamt myself wearing this hat, and I was like, whoa. I don't know why. Maybe then and there I didn't realize I was in a dream, but I don't know. That was great. Great response about the hat. Say high praise. Oh yeah, dog. Yeah, people don't need to understand. Truthfully, like let's be real here. Most people that are not performance artists or artists as a whole don't really understand how to express themselves. Be it musically, be it with your clothing. It's just a thing you got to learn. You know. He shared his lack of intellect, but he revealed his hand so quick, not to extenuate the homie, but yeah, homie projected super hard. But again, I'm glad I'm not him. And yeah, we all just live in these avatar. So yeah, in my stream I mentioned we don't have nightmares if we don't watch toxic media. I don't know, dog. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. I think it has a deeper connotation to our relationship with our health, but I know some people that all they have is nightmares. People of all sorts. So I think, yeah, it's an unfortunate reality. But with that, I think actually there's a lucid dream specialist. It's this one really dope woman that Andrew Holisek does some podcast with, where basically she talks of how when she was younger and for most of her life, she had very intense nightmares. And basically, she had this one pivotal moment where she basically had a reoccurring dream that she was being chased by some sort of monster. This was her dream. And she vividly recalls she had a very specific moment where she was talking to her like psychologist or something. And then the psychologist said, what if you just face the monster? Like, what if you just told the monster to go away? What would happen? And then she thought, you know what? I've never tried that. And then she told this monster, yeah, she basically, in this dream, reoccurring dream happened. She faced the monster, said, hey, go away, monster. And then suddenly, she went lucid and had her first lucid dream. And that, I think, is a sort of very distinct connection, is what a lot of people may or may not realize. Again, I'm not an expert in general on lucid dreaming, but when you're experiencing nightmares, like, night terrors, like some of these very like dark, very intense types of dream states, from what this woman who does this, practice, she now specializes in lucid dreams, written many books. She's like 35 years old, devoted most of her life to lucid dreaming, is that when you transmute these sort of like dark themes, you basically begin to realize how you can shift this energy, how you can basically really learn to change the nature of your dream, which is also a context of becoming lucid. When you go in lucid dreams, you actually have the immediate ability in many rights to basically exit the dream or change the dream, shift to a different dream. That's sort of a part of lucid dreaming. So yeah, it's almost like it's a glimmer of hope to those that are experiencing nightmares. Maybe again, I don't experience nightmares, fortunately, but unless I eat maybe something very strange or on the odd, rare occasion. But truthfully, yeah, I think nightmares are a thing that we can actually use as like a raw point to dive deeper. Hello, we are connecting regarding community guidelines. Bruv, you've come here before, chat service official. Chat service, you came here a long ass time ago, bro. I know you're a bot. Yeah. There you go, bruv. I'm not gonna fall for that twice, YouTube chat service official spam bot. So my stream, I mentioned we don't have nightmares. Yeah, sick. There were puppets in the dream. They attempted to kill me with wood saws. Huh. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, dog. Deshaun cooked. Do hats really do that about oxygen? Slide, yeah. Sweet. I think this is the thing. It could be because basically I wear this underneath, right? Because this actually presses against my head, rubs against this. So I think what I'm going to do in the future is I'm going to design, I actually ordered this beautiful fabric. I'm going to design a bandana that perfectly fits. So then I can wear this so it won't rub against my head. So if I'm wearing it for like hours and stuff. Yeah, it's all about designing stuff. They're nice, cool, and call them homie. Accentuate the homie. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, bro, it's power move, power move. Yeah. We fell for it before. I did. I mean, that's when I was literally like a month in, not even a month. I've been streaming for like weeks. I remember being like, I was like, can people tell me if this YouTube service official is real? Like, is this a real thing? Do they contact you like that? And then after like 10 minutes, the guy was like, oh, no, I'm just trolling, bro. I'm a spam bot. I'm not real. Like, he just told me. He literally dead ass told me. And I was like, you know what? That's points for the YouTube service official spam bot guy that he knew when to say when. He was like, yeah, you knew I'm not real. Don't have to stress. So then that's when I learned that lesson. YouTube spam service official bot, not real. He's a spam bot. He's probably trying to scam something. For all you guys trying to watch, there you go. You learned some lessons. That those spam bots are fake. I'll be honest too, I know for a fact on these streams, I got nothing to worry about. I'm not doing anything explicit. I'm literally talking about philosophy, talking about lucid dreams and playing piano here. Like what in the world could they even try to be like, oh, you're doing something against community guidelines? It's like, nope, no, I'm not. So it's all so obvious, so painfully obvious. So painfully obvious. Seems to me you're educated one. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All they watch is read horror stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I think it's not the expertise. It's not their expertise, let's say. I mean, let's be real here. If we're talking about the nature, like the subject of dreams, it's as obvious as you think. Anything and everything affects your dreams, like the things you eat, your physiological state. Maybe if you're taking certain medications, if you do take those, or you take certain supplements, or maybe, some sort of psychedelic intervention, or, yeah, your psychological state, all these things impact your dreams. Like, this is just the nature of it. So, yeah, for someone to be like, oh, no, but that's impossible, or, but this is probably what's happening in dreams. Yeah, you probably, unfortunately, don't understand the full entirety of it. That's all I'll say to that. That's okay. We're here to learn. Here to just figure that shit out. Bro, that had me worried. I thought it was dead as a thing. Bro, no, that's the thing is, yeah, that's what I'm telling you is I literally had that exact experience occur when I was like 3 weeks in as a streamer. This like YouTube service official guy pops on, is like, hey, blah blah blah, and I'm just like, is this real? And then he like after 10 minutes literally just claimed that it's fake. It's a spam bot. So now I know inevitably. I'm surprised I saw that guy again. And did the exact same prompt. Like that was so telling. Is like he literally said the exact same prompt as the spammer. It wasn't even like a official thing. It was like blah 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 blah. You've gone against the guidelines. If you didn't respond in 1 minute, blah blah blah. Action of that. I'm like, that's literally the exact same thing the dude said. So that's hilarious. Again, if you ever come across a neuro streamer and that happens, there's no reason to fret. Word. Let's see. Started tennis with good weather. Cool, cool. It's very good weather. It's very good weather. Yeah. I don't know exactly what you're talking about, bro, but I mean I sort of do. But no, it's good, bro. I'm here. I'm the moderator. I think I got a good handle on moderating and dealing with the 1% of people that desire to troll. That's part of why I'm doing this. I have zero issues to deal with the odd outliers or unhinged outliers. And worst case scenario or easiest thing to do is I can literally just be like, okay, let's just focus on creating music. Focus on being present in the present moment. I don't have to engage in the comments. But I like to let people know that what this community is about if they're trying to be some outlandish, unhinged nonsense. Hello, hey, some piano. We're speaking my language. Hell yeah, brother. Thank you for being here. This is feeling good right now. Beautiful. Let's pop back into this. idea what that is, bruv. Speaking to Leah. Not sure what tactile Asperger's is. Never heard of that term, man. No, no. I feel like when I wear this hat appropriately on the angle, it doesn't really cut off my blood flow. Very nice. Leave a great, great music. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Mana. I appreciate you. Bro, I've got uprights, stained white black, old, looks haunted, but if I got it tuned, it would sound heavenly. Nice. I'm assuming that's a guitar. I mean, hey, yeah. Send some love to your guitar, brother. Yeah. Great, great indeed. To be grateful. Wicked. Don't let their mean comments echo my beautiful brain. Thanks, brother. Brother or sister. Not trust, I'm good, I'm good. Part of why I'm a streamer is I'm also very good at navigating boundaries. Yeah. I'm quite bulletproof. But also, that being said, I'm also very intentional. I understand the nature of how we attract people, how we invite, different energies and set the tone for what we absorb in our reality. So this intention of this channel is very clear, right? We're here to create this like safe space, a meditative space that is inspiring, empowering, musically connected. This is the boundaries, the perimeters of the boundaries. So I'm very confident. I'm confident in my ability to hold space for this. I appreciate that though. Sincere thought. Okay. Cool. Why do musicians dress goth? I don't know, bro. I certainly don't even know what goth is necessarily. I think if someone were to try to identify what I'm rocking as goth, then I think they honestly don't fundamentally understand clothing. I mean, fundamentally, I think the aesthetic I'd go for if I go for one, but I'm kind of just making my own aesthetic, is probably like 80s rock star. Yeah. But I don't know. I guess people that go for goth, I don't know what to tell you, dog. People can dress however they want. I've never really got the appeal, but that being said, women that rock like really hot, just beautiful, expressive, gothic, Victorian era type stuff, like musicians or tattoo artists, I think that's very sexy. Yeah, they can rock it. So if you're asking why musicians or anyone just expresses themselves, with clothes, and I don't know what to tell you, I don't know. I think this returns to the same sort of core thought as like artists will express themselves, whether they're wearing clothes, whether they're singing songs, whether they're playing instruments, like artists will express themselves. It's kind of like what they do. If you don't understand why people don't express themselves, you're probably not an artist, or, you need to honor that inner artistry. Posted a new piano shorts as I've been sick. Yo, that's awesome, Capt K. I feel you, dog. I've been sick. I've been sick for the last week. Today and yesterday, I was not sick, so post a new piano. Yes, yes. Thank you, Ethereal. Jesus the way. I mean, thank you for sharing, dog, but this is not a religious channel. Yeah. I have to express openly. No religious or political stuff is it's not the move. Like, thank you for sharing your truth, brother, but find a channel that is more oriented towards, I don't know, religious, political values. And this is a music channel, brother. It's a music channel. So we're able to do the favor. I don't know what your favor was, brother. Let's see. My piano is gothic. Then, honestly, bro, what's Victorian era? That's what gothic is, I think. I'm not like a, I don't really know much about gothic stuff, but bro, like Victorian era stuff is dope as fuck. If you think not, then I don't know. Don't know what to tell you. Yeah. It's edgy at classic rock, 50s. Nice. Thank you, brother. I love what I wear. It's very intentional. Yeah. Makes me think of Tim Burton. Let's go. Tim Burton's a gem. And you can't really see it. Like, you can kind of make sense of it. Bro, this hat, it's dark red. You can kind of maybe see it, but it's only in the true light. Yeah, I have to shine like some true light. But this hat is a beautiful, beautiful color palette. Can't really be perceived on this camera, sadly. That's kind of part of the beauty, is that only in real life will people that see me in the real world will get to see this really high contrast color palette. But it's basically acid wash, distressed, dark red. Like garnet, auburn. Gotta love those deep rich notes. 1 second, friends. Gonna grab some small glass of cacao and probably head downstairs. Yeah. Man, I have to say though, I continuously am just like astonished. Cool. I don't know if that phrase, blah 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 blah. I'm a Foyd name. My name is Leah. Sick. Very nice. Yeah, no, I get it. Monikers. Ashay's not my name, but you know it. Little steampunk thrown in for the flair. Yeah, 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 yeah. Homie's asking Satoru Gojo, am I LGBTQ supporter? I mean, that sounds like a very loaded question, but of course I respect people. I respect people's orientation. I respect people's right to, be respected, to have free will. But of course, that being said, I believe people can be ignorant, can be delusioned, can be disintegrated, etc., etc. Doesn't matter what their orientation is. I believe in good human beings. I don't judge people based on their race, their orientation. I never have, never will. But I believe that people of all sorts, doesn't matter your orientation, etc., can be, phenomenal human beings or can be very shitty human beings. It doesn't discriminate. So am I a supporter? I'm a supporter of human beings being good human beings. It doesn't matter what orientation you are. Yeah. I'm a supporter of people just being decent human beings. Whatever that looks like, I support you. Yeah. Emphasis is laugh, but I'm sure there's a lot, but up. Oh, interesting. Alrighty then. Very nice, very nice. Nice. Thank you, dog. I love this hat too. Honestly, that's funny because seeing this hat, the more I wear it, the more I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, I look like some sort of like, I don't know, announcer, freaking, what's the word? Like, it's like there's some kind of like, maybe a music performance or some sort of like magic show where, there's your announcer guy who's like on the stage. And it's kind of like the guy, the announcer guy, the narrator, if you will. I'm the narrator. I'm the philosophical narrator who's doing music stuff. So it fits. It's the hat, bro. The hat is many realms, many realms. Thanks. I would like to ask if you at the club, if you're referring to me, are you talking about me at the club? I go to shows all the time. It was probably me, bro. It was probably me at the rave, yeah. Heck yeah, bruv. Yeah, big world. Medicine was out musically. Yeah, yeah, you should do that, bruv. Hardly ever drink. Very good, very good. I believe the question was aimed at me, but you know my story, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not new to the stream, I've been sober for 11 years, but I go to raves all the time, pretty much every single week. Well, that's like 4 months. So I love to dance. I love to celebrate. I'm a tutter, so I'm a dancer. What do you think of guinea pigs in the pet store, bro? We love guinea pigs. I mean, come on, guinea pigs are amazing. So great. I'm not sure who you're referring to leading, but I'm definitely not a model. I'm an actor and a musician, but not really much of an actor, truthfully. Just I'm in the film industry, but I wouldn't call myself an actor. I'm more of a musician. Yeah. You was at the club too. Devin was at the damn club at this point, seems. Bottoms up, I mean, if you drink. I don't drink. Nah, nah. I club sober, but it's not a club. I don't go to a club, bro. I go to a rave, like good shows, high quality, like experimental underground ecstatic dance events. Clubs? Nah, bro, that's not the move. I'm curious. Applied, blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah, blah. Just wondering the hats are cool. Try mine. Very nice. Right on stream. I work down sometimes, yeah. It gets in the way, though. That's why I tie it up. Yeah. With that being said, yeah, I do get lots of positive remarks. Like, for some reason, all my romantic partners, like, they always, like, they always just love it. Like, for some reason, yeah. Like, my past girlfriend, one before that, she's just always, like, really hyped. I was like, we should wear your hair down. I'm just kind of like, when I'm just kicking it, sure, but hair gets in the way. I prefer having it not in the way. Guinea pigs in Estonia. Do you know what they call guinea pigs in Estonia? I have no idea. No idea, friend. Renee, here's talking to you, my friend. You're definitely projecting. You're projecting yourself. So from one clown perceptibly to another, I see you. Bro, this guy is something else. Who's someone else? Me being someone else? Because probably. I'm a weird, very unorthodox dude. I'm so jealous of people who can play music. It comes with very well. But Jesus Christ, play music. Nice. 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 I know where commas go very well. Nice. I I think that was a compliment. So thank you, BBRASWE2. Yeah, I can play music. This is facts. Yes. I am a musician. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. I think all of your romantic partners have been damn lucky. Yeah, me too, though, bro. It goes both ways. I'm lucky. They're angels. Like, these are incredible human beings. I'm blessed. Yeah. We're both blessed. We're both lucky. I hope you don't bring guitars places. Well, that's where you got me wrong, bro. I feel like, yeah, I think you're a little bit confused, BBR, or whatever. Throwing me some weird backhanded compliments, but I bring guitars everywhere. I bring guitars literally everywhere, bruv. Yeah. Do. I mean, we all know when people drop in random comments, they're just projecting their own, their own perceptions. So he's expressing to us that he's a clown. He just wants the world to know. He really wants the world to know that he's a clown, and that's okay. I respect. I commend you and wanted to be a clown. Whoever what's his name was. But this is what I say to anyone that has time to, type in things that are maybe weird projections or maybe to throw in salt. You probably just need to put down your phone and pick up a guitar. You got to put down your phone and pick up a guitar. If you have time to waste to project nonsense onto people on YouTube streams, you probably got to put down your phone, brother. You got to turn it off and pick up your guitar. You know, you got to get your priorities in check. Some clowns are cool. Oh yeah, bro. We love the circus, bro. We love circus here. Yeah, yeah. I should probably finish this cacao before it gets too late, because it's approaching like 12:30. Not backhanded, I'm jealous. Hey, thank you then. Well, I don't know. Precision of words. But I appreciate that. Yeah. I mean, no need to be jealous. I mean, maybe if you want to be, but many years, many years of devotion. I like to be very candid that I have zero talent as a musician. I mean, that's not true maybe now, but as a young kid, when I started in music, I was dog shit. Like, I had no talent. I had no idea. It took me many, many years. It probably took me about 7, 8 years to even get remotely good at playing the guitar and then translate that into everything else. So, I don't know. Perseverance is key. You too can become a good musician. Give yourself 7, 8, 9, 10 years. Devote yourself. You'll get there. It's very much a reconnected and connected. Yes, that's thank you, Capt K. We are on the grind for, I mean, subscribers is not really my intention now. I just want to get watch hours, so you guys are the MVPs for giving me watch hours, but no matter. Yeah. Like what we're doing is we want to get to 3,000 watch hours in the next couple weeks, get to 4,000 watch hours by the end of like the next 3 weeks. That's the goal. Once I can hit monetization, subscribers, that's cool, that's great. I'll blow up and get subscribers at any sort of rate, but watch hours. That's the move, ladies and gentlemen. So I bet they were lovely angels. Yes, sir, bro. Yeah, no. I am what I attract. Yes, sir. Not backhand. So what is the deepest think there can be? You're asking me what the deepest think there can be. The deepest think. Damn. The deepest think. The deepest think. The deepest. I mean, man, that's pretty clear. I think we can't put a comparison on how thoughts, enter the deepest realms. But contemplating the nature of the universe before the Big Bang, that is understanding quantum theory, that is understanding the quantum, that's a pretty deep place. That's a good place to start, I would say. How do you deal with this BS? What BS though? I don't know, Brenda. I'm curious. I mean, I have to say, I've had comment sections where it's literally full of philosophers and insightful musicians, and I've had comment sections where people are just kind of like, they're just tossing around projections, and this is pretty tame. This is pretty tame, I must say. Yeah. What does 67 actually mean? No idea, my friend. All I can say to you, Brenda, is, or to like your comment is, I think that it's all about setting the tone. Like, think about it like this. It's like this is the same in the real world, right? If you as a human being understand your boundaries, you understand how to set the tone within what you're inviting and absorbing, people can do whatever they want. People can say whatever they want if they're so inclined in your sphere. But you as an individual are intentionally setting the boundaries of what you are absorbing, of what you're permitting, of what you're choosing to absorb. Nothing people do or say is personal. But if you understand the power that you have as an individual, but you know what? This is my intention to what I'm inviting within this world, which is obviously, this is a YouTube stream. This is my channel. My intention is clear. I desire to create a safe space that's meditative, invites musicians, that's a community, right? It's a community of people. And that's the intention. That's never going to change. So if people don't align with that community, they're going to be exited out. They're going to, organically leave, or I'm going to invite them to leave. So that intention never changes, I think it's going to only become more and more refined. This community as a whole, my intention is the same. And maybe it'll evolve, maybe it'll change into something more beautiful. But the idea is that I'm clear in my intention. I'm setting the tone for what I'm inviting in this community. And that's what's going to continue to flourish. People will come and go. This is free will. We have free will in this weird YouTube portal. But yeah, I'm the one setting the tone. I'm facilitating this. So I'm confident in my ability to do that. The deepest think is that there's steampunk AI babes. That's not it, bro. That's not it. That is not it, brothers and sisters. Anything to do with AI, that's a no. Can I be more serious when I say I like music escaped my brain? The production of it, I've taken lessons. I cry. Incredible gift. Wow. When I say I like music escaped my brain, that is so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, BBA. Yeah. Can you play the Godfather theme? No idea how to play that, brother. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, you can, people can displace jealousy, being like, oh, I'm jealous of this and that. I think that's a waste of energy. Like, without going on too deep of a tangent, I vividly remember like 11 years ago when I first heard Andy McKee, right? One of the best guitarists, I think, of our time. He's actually who's influenced my style of playing. He's influenced me in many different ways, but particularly in my playing style with artificial harmonics. And the first time I heard his music, there were a lot of comments where people were like, whoa, this is impossible, or, thank you for inviting me or inspiring me to throw out my guitar, stuff like that, where I was just like, like, that's an interesting world of thought. And the way you look at it is you can see people and people's influence one or two ways. Like, you could see a masterpiece in front of you, and you could be like, whoa, that is extraordinary, that's impossible, I'll never get there, XYZ, right? That's the narrative you can choose. Or you can choose the narrative to be like, you know what? That is so beautiful that a human being can achieve that. And it's extraordinary to think that I can achieve that one day. That maybe one day, with enough practice and devotion, I will get there. You choose the narrative. So you can be jealous, or you can apply yourself, right? You can be jealous and maybe almost like see these great, masterful achievements of other people as something that, neglects, or it doesn't inspire you, or it can be something that can profoundly inspire you. You get to choose that. That's all based on how you believe it. And I'll be honest, as a guy that's always chosen to see other people's achievements as something, as a reference point to achieve, this is part of what I think has allowed me to succeed. As a musician, I don't get uninspired by other people's beautiful accomplishments. I literally see that as like, okay, beautiful, I'm going to accomplish that myself one day. And that's my belief. And it starts there, right? So interesting, though, that musical talent and aesthetic talent like yours, lyrical talents or whatever, they go together. Interesting. Very nice. Yeah. Well, welcome to my channel. Yeah. That's exactly it. I got a many different aesthetics. I'm probably not like many of the artists or aesthetics that you speak of that you've ever seen. Yeah, I'm doing something very different. That's what I do. Yeah. How do you type? I don't know what to tell you, bruv. Something like dewy grass. Honestly, I've only been playing piano for 2 years, so I have no idea how to improv any artist's music. Yeah, I'm also not a cover artist, yeah. I can play some Attack on Titan type stuff, but that's like, that's kind of what I go for. I don't know. I'm an improv artist. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Crazy awesome hat. Hell yeah, brother. I am Willy Wonka's psychedelic brother. Yeah, I don't know. That's high praise though. Willy Wonka, he's cool. You can't prove anything is real. This guy gets it. This guy gets it. This guy gets it. I'm not sure what you're saying. Cool. What are any of us saying? Man, will I ever catch up on these comments? Let's see. Okay, so if I scroll through here, etc., etc., why would you want? Let's just power through these right quick. That's for the claim. Blah 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 blah. Alicia Keys. Okay, that's great. Wow, wow, whoa. Ontology. What about ontology? What about ontology? Truth, I don't know what that means. Supposed to getting addicted to AI. That is a shame, but welcome to 2026. I just think what I'm trying to express is I know for sure I can write you. I do not have a gift for music, but I would die without your gift. Wow. I think, yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. Thank you. I feel you. Normal. What would you do right now if your name was different? What would I do right now if my name was different? I mean, I don't think you even know my name, but names aren't who we are. Yeah, I'm an identical twin, brother. I'm an identical twin. I haven't like had to put special emphasis on names for most of my life. I've been called the wrong name for so much of my life to a point where I just don't take it seriously. I don't take it personal. What is the genre that you play? I mean, I play many different genres. Like compositionally, I write many different genres, but what I typically play, I would probably consider it a fusion of like flamenco, classic, like classic guitar, maybe a bit of jazz infused. Like that's what if we want to go technical. But on a deeper level, I do many different things with music. Yeah. But I just improvise. Like I'm very much improvising through specific keys in my own style that I've created. And yeah. So to that, Natasha, it's like that's basically my answer. Very nice. And what you pick up is so important. The inspiration. Very nice. Very nice. But that bone. Let's get that bone. Yeah, I'm reading these comments and kind of just like, okay. Yeah, I don't know what's. I think you're just monologuing here. These aren't. This is an interaction a little bit. Yeah. Let's see. Interesting industry. Like most of my favorite piece is actually an obituary. Wow. 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 If you throw a salamander to a bucket of grubs, what do you think would happen? Not a clue in the world, my friend. What's good, England? What's good, Northampton? Bro, England is legendary. I'll be honest, when I throw on this hat, immediately I just want to do an English or Australian accent. I don't know why, it's just this is where my brain goes. Yeah. I'll be honest, the easiest way I could probably answer what the genre that I play, especially on this channel, like when I'm performing or doing improv, is basically I am extremely attracted to movie scores, right? A lot of what I do is I'm basically doing like a blend of different keys and different melodic improv that's very strongly improvised from movie scores, like Hans Zimmerman music, video game, anime scores. Like I'm taking a lot of like movie score type music, very ambient, very atmospheric. That's often what inspires me. So if that sort of answers that question, I think that's the answer. Yeah. What is poppin'? Hey, yeah, feel free, bro. This is my hat, bruv. I'm not always gonna wear it, but when I do, it's just the move. Yeah. I agree. It's like I remember when I first bought this hat. Well, yesterday I purchased it, and then I had it arrive, and I was rocking it in my streams. I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, I don't know if I want to always have this initially or necessarily because I don't want to take away, from the nature of this. Right? We're interacting, we're creating music, but also I'll be honest, over the last 24 hours, I've just fallen in love with this hat so much that it's a part of me. So get used to it, brother. I'm a performance artist. Harp. Give you tips or an autobiography. That was awful. That sucks, dude. The aesthetic is so important to the art, and we really cannot separate the art from this artist. Sure, sure, sure. I still don't. I feel like maybe it's your wording, maybe it's your grasp of the English language. I feel like half of what you're saying, BBRA, is kind of loaded. Like you're not really self aware of the way you're trying to like contextualize or articulate what you're saying. It's like almost like, again, like I kind of said initial, it's like you're almost like unconsciously throwing backhanded compliments. And you're not really conscious of that. But I mean, I think I get what you're saying. I think you have a well intended intent. So that's where I'll connect with you. But yeah, I'm used to it. But brosis, the hat looks really cool. Thank you, thank you. It's yeah, appreciate you, Abby. I think so too. I'm using the voice to text. Ah, yeah, yeah, there you go. That's probably correct. Voice to text. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, voice to text, that's probably chopping your words. But again, I'm the kind of man that I'm going to call out a lack of self awareness. Not saying that's even the case, but yeah, we could all practice self awareness. Give me some tips. How to remove bloodstains. I'm not your guy, my friend. I've never dealt with that tribulation. I suggest Google. Google that shit, dog. I don't know. Beautiful. All right, so I think we're going to bring ourselves back to this music studio. Let's go. Back at it. Into the downstairs world. Life's pretty cool. Life is really cool. You really look at it. But yeah, no, we're back here doing guitar stuff. Got the pan flute stuff. Got some nice gold light, to sort of enhance what we're seeing. Man, though, I must say, I'm having fun here, but it's such a beautiful day. I'm definitely gonna have to, at some point, just go and chill in the forest and do Qigong. That's just the facts. Let's see. How does hair get in the way? It just does, my friend. It just does. Yeah. Yeah, dog. This is my realm. I'm just chilling at home. My home is my studio. This is my creative space, my creative epicenter. Yeah, most of my family gets to hear me blabbing on when they're around. They're just like, "What's this guy doing?" Oh yeah, he's a YouTuber now. And I'm like, "Yep, this is me." I must say it's very entertaining because I've actually never advertised this YouTube to any of my family or friends actually. Maybe if my friend is like is a guitarist in my target audience, but or a fellow YouTuber, I don't advertise this channel at all. Yeah, it's kind of a rule of thumb. Is as a YouTuber, it's not wise to actually just like advertise your channel, too actively because you got to let the algorithm find your target audience, right? You want your target audience to be present, experience, what you're going for. So yeah, most of my family, they have no idea necessarily I'm a YouTuber. I've shared them like, whoa, I'm hitting this benchmark, I'm at 1,000 subscribers, going big. But the idea is that, yeah, they kind of just see me doing YouTube stuff. I'm like, okay, here's Ryan just doing his YouTube stuff. But it's like, yeah, it's kind of, they get a nice little outside looking in. That's kind of the point, you know? I'm just a YouTuber guy now, but not one of the cringe ones. Let's go outside. Let's appreciate this beautiful weather together. Because this is the move. We have free will. Very nice. Man, what in the actual fuck? It's been a move chilling inside, but wow. Let's kind of do this thing. Got the wind kicking in. Super dope. Hold up, I'm gonna get some incense. Welcome to this live stream, ladies and gentlemen. Nice. This is my little throne thing that I found when I was on Changa. Yeah. Nice. To know how this affects the algorithm. Something, something. Pan flute. Nice. Gee, so many pan flutes coming. Huh. Homie's just spamming. Nice. Do you believe in the apocalypse would be most useful tool? What? I mean, huh? I just asked who that is. I showed you one of the pieces. I love NDA. Doing a good job. Dude, everyone's doing a great job. Love everything. Nice. Okay. Honestly, No idea what to say about the apocalypse, dog. I don't know. Gotta be present, brother. Quantum reality, we create everything. Let's be present here. Nice. New here, you're so talented. I subscribe. Why, thank you, Abby. You're very kind. Why, thank you. We're out here living the life of a dude. Yes. Them chimes. Yeah, chimes be here, bruv. You are the algorithm. No, you're not. Definitely not. Cool. Cool. Wow. Super confused. They're speaking about something about delusions. Somebody delusional. I'd say to Derp, just be present, dog. Be present. Yeah. Again, not sure what you're indirectly pointing your attention to, but be present, dog. Yeah. Seems like you need presence in your life. You think your projections are taking you to places that make zero sense in your brain or mine. So thank you for sharing that. Welcome, my mandel. Do you spit other than brushing your teeth? Yep. Yeah. Projections of our future. Derp, I don't think I'll take your advice or your predictions to heart at all, brother. I think you don't know how to communicate, and your failure to communicate reflects on your inability to predict the future. So, again, thank you for sharing, dog. But I think you need to be present. Be present with this moment. If you're here to be present with this community, you're welcome to do so. If you want to listen to the music, you're welcome to do so. Yeah, that's all I'll say to that, brother. Oh, that's a little bit boosted. Let's turn that down. Flip that down. I think we're a little bit out of tune here. A little bit out of tune. Why, thank you, Abby. It's a nice day, gotta say. No complaints here. Got our hat. Burning some beautiful ritual incense. It's a vibe. Heath Ledger's alive. That's right, dog. You got it. We playing guitar.
We're live more than ever. uh, Lack of communication really means the ability to see and listen. Blabbing the whole time, you sat back ready to observe and see things others miss. Wow, what an incredible observation from someone that literally is clearly projecting so much, I'd say, failure to communicate. I don't know, bro. I think you're low-key trying to gaslight me. That's pretty fucked. But thank you for displaying this beautiful example of a lack of self-awareness to us all. Thank you, Derp. Now we know exactly what to not do. What kind of boots am I wearing? Absolutely none, my friend. Never out of tune all the way into... I mean, slightly, maybe slightly. We're in 432 hertz, so technically we're not in standard. Standard with a drop B. So we can get out of tune, yeah, it happens. But I hear you, we just gotta be confident, you just gotta lead with confidence. I don't know, as a musician though, when I'm out of tune for even like a quarter of a second, I like feel it. I feel it in my body. I'm like, alright, we gotta be, let's align to what we're trying to intentionally be in tune with. Which doesn't necessarily mean being in 442 hertz or 440 hertz. I think that's where we want to be. There we go. Beautiful. What should you do to bury my head in the ground and try to catch myself, live my own bubble, while the world around you burns? How mature of you. Bro, you're really digging yourself. You're really digging yourself. Yeah. I mean, I'm all for freedom expression, derp, but, bruv. Yeah. Is he even about to call you out being him? Yeah, no, again, like, derp, it's very clear what's going on. I appreciate you trying to gaslight me. That's cool, bro. You know, that's your thing. You're a gaslighter. You're a delusional fuck, but clearly you've revealed your hand, brother. You've projected your own inability to communicate, your own inability to read people's character, and then you're now also projecting your inability to embody actually what it means to be a man. And I'm sorry for you, brother. I feel for you. You're really you're digging yourself into a hole. And that sucks, dog. I mean, we're here to hold space, to share space, inspire, whatever, you know? But I think Derp is not, he's not a member of the community. He's just a lost dude. He's a lost dude that desires to project. Let's see, put user in timeout. I'll give you 10 minutes, bro. There you go. Don't worry. I'm giving you 10 minutes. Like, I know you've worked really hard, Derp. You really have, bro. You've really earned that timeout badge. So I'll give you that 10 minutes, brother. But don't worry. It's we're on the same page. We understand clearly how much you've revealed your own inadequacy, your own projections, and it's okay. It's okay, Derp. It's okay to be lost, bro. It's okay to be scared and afraid. It's okay. Of course, that assumes, you know, that to be scared, to be afraid, to be lost, that again, that basically assumes that he has self-awareness, which unfortunately, because the homie was literally just trying to gaslight me the entire time, I'm going to assume very confident that Derp is not self-aware. Unfortunately, he's not rocking the self-awareness. So, you know, let this be intention we're putting out there to hope the buddy finds some self-awareness. You know, this will be the seed. This will be the seed. We're rooting for you, Derp. You'll find self-awareness, brother. Wherever it exists one day, who knows? Say la vie, say la vie. Derp life matters. He is, yeah, Derp life matters. You got it. Yeah. My body fat percentage? I'll be honest, bro, I've never checked. It's probably very low. It's very low. I'm a vegetarian athlete, so it's pretty low, I must say. It means a lot of things to be a man. Yeah. And very much, but I don't get the phrase. Oh, I get the phrase. I get the phrase. I mean, I actually talked about this a lot on my previous stream. We won't emphasize on that too long because we're here for the music today. But very much, I think it's very clear what it means to be a man. You know, in this world, a lot of us, we don't really understand sort of like the fundamental core values of what it means to be a good person. But truthfully, we're talking about men, like modern man. The modern man, what is the modern man often disillusioned to not be, to not embody? Often, a lot of this has to do with being concise, making intelligent, good, self-aware decisions. You know, basically just making good decisions and acting from a place that is operated out of these good decisions or is aware of why they're making these good decisions. You know, it's like having your values, your words, your thoughts all align. That is in many rights what it means to be a man. But of course, this is much deeper rabbit hole. You know, we're talking about what it means on a primal level to be a man, right? You know, as a primal being, you know, masculine energy, it's like a directional force. It's a directional, you know, it's really is like, it's a penetrating directional force in the universe. But, yeah. I don't know. I think there's a lot of ways we could sort of understand that, but I think it's kind of sad that a lot of people have sort of lost their connection with a lot of like these primal core values of what it means to be men. Yeah. Could talk about that forever, but that's for another day. I spent like an hour yesterday talking about that. But I think in the simplest right, we as human beings, men and women, we've lost our connection to our primal essence, to our primal values, and especially modern men, unfortunately. But that's okay. We'll find our way. Being a good person is being a good human. Sure. Oh yeah, no. But let's be real here. Let's not pretend to act like men. Masculine energy, healthy embodiments of integrated masculine energy. This is a pivotal thing. Like, you know, it's like, for being truly transparent, men are important. The role that men play in a society, evolutionarily, like this is a very important thing. You know, I feel it's a high honor to embody healthy, integrated masculine energy. But that being said, the reason why there's a lot of like fundamental psychological pathologies in society is because the state of modern masculinity in men. You know, a lot of men, they're falling short. You know, they're failing the larger construct of what it means to be a man. And it's unfortunate because society needs healthy, integrated men. It needs healthy, integrated leaders. It needs healthy archetypes of the masculine. It needs this. This is a part of society, just as much as it needs the same for the feminine. So let's not pretend that, you know, men, women, we can't just categorize their unique roles. They're evolutionarily unique entities, right? We can look at it in many different ways, but masculine and feminine energy play very specific roles in the universe. And again, as a man, it's an honor to be a man. Like, it's not the role masculine energy plays in the universe is very beautiful. You know, it's very it's very protective, it's very directional, it's a very extraordinary force. But of course, in modern 2026, we as human beings, a lot of us, we have a very convoluted perception of what actual masculine energy is, and it's very sad. And, you know, very simply, the world needs men more than ever. It needs like healed, integrated expressions of masculinity. Bro's trying to act deep. Not an act. Not an act. I can't. I don't know, bro. I don't know what's how you've interpreted anything of that is anything but real, but it says all about you, my friend. So now I dare someone watch the JJ speaking of honor. Very nice. Very nice. Beautiful. So we're approaching 2.5 hours here. Very beautiful. I think what we're going to do is we're going to take a short break. Or a long break. A medium break. In the next about 5-10 minutes. You know, go for a nice run. Do some training. Do some songwriting. All that beautiful stuff. Respond to some of the Instagram messages that are flowing through. 1 second, my friends. That's what we need, though. This is what we need, without a shadow of a doubt. Some hydration. Water is beautiful. Men's mental health and bringing men back is the first step. That's true. Men's mental health, men's emotional health, men's spiritual health is very important. You know, we as human beings, we need to like return to letting ourselves nourish ourselves, letting ourselves honor ourselves and each other. And of course, that starts with honoring our mental health, you know, not trying to suppress or demonize or fragment ourselves further, of course. What's my Instagram? I can send it to you, brother, but I'm trying not to send out my Instagram publicly on this because it's a personal channel. I don't really have a professional Instagram as of late. Woman nurturing, protective, aka a good mother. I mean, they're nurturing, absolutely. Solar and lunar, masculine and feminine. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Nice. I agree too. Leading. 45-year-old lady. Nice. Okay. Is the universe deterministic? Is there free will? I mean, I think we've already expressed our thoughts about that, Floyd, in many different ways. I mean, deterministic? Of course not. Of course not. Is there free will? Technically, yes, but does free will determine how we live our lives? Doesn't have to. Like 1000%. Like, you know, if you've chimed into anything I've been saying about the quantum theory, quantum particles, everything is a neutral entity. Like, I can't emphasize this enough. This is something that most people will not unpackage unless they actually start to dive deep into reality. You actually start to like unpackage the programming, actually start to be authentic with your human experience, you know, go on a spiritual conquest, if you will, maybe whatever that means, whatever evokes that. You'll realize that everything in life is a neutral entity. It's a reflection. It's a reflection of the thoughts that you have. It's a reflection of the beliefs that you hold, the people that are in your life. Everything is a reflection. Everything exists as a neutral entity. It is or is not, and then it is so. So the second that you believe that, my most abundant vision and reality will be so, the second you actually crystallize that, you pull those threads and make it your reality, it will become. You know, the second you believe, this person is this, that, the other, you think, all the positive things about them, you think all the negative things about them, they're both. They are both. We all inherently exist polarity. We all have the ability to become one or the other. We all have the ability to be, you know, both dimensions of the dual spectrum, right? Like, it's like people, the illusion is that we think that things are positive and negative, that things are, you know, the dark and the light, they are separate. They are the same. We're all both, right? We're all one with all of these things. The idea is the moment that we direct our energy into it, then we are literally creating and manifesting that which is. It's just, again, this sounds very esoteric and metaphysical, but if you really begin to understand these things, it's the way it is. So, is the universe deterministic? No. Is there free will? Depends on who you are. Depends on if you understand the nature of manifestation. Technically, you have free will to do whatever you want. You have free will to destroy your life, to be a destructive force, to, to sabotage your life into turmoil. You also have the free will to become a abundant, ecstatic, blissful, harmonious human being. Both realities exist. You get to choose what that is. It's always going to be that way. If you apply that and really understand that, that's always going to be the way it is. Anyway, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful truth. This Captuo. Very nice. Just popping off, man. Thank you for the engagement, friends. I just like rainbows, a symbol that comes after a storm. Rainbows are beautiful. It's hard not to love them. Just color. So any traditionalists like Tene, Guam, or Amanda Krum? No idea what that means. No idea. No idea. Beautiful. Well, I think we've approached this 2.5 hour mark, and I'm feeling good. I think I'm going to take a break for the next little bit. We'll probably pop on later. Yeah, we will pop on later. Did you say exactly to yourself? I'll never get tired of this thing. Very nice. Hell yeah, thank you, Doc. This is a great experience. It's a great prop. Just endless fun, endless fun. In a perfectly symmetrical black hole where something somehow placed the center of the Dyson sphere constructed around a rapidly spinning neutron star. How is Hawking's radiation influencing the sphere's energy? Bro, I'm not an astrophysicist, but thank you for confiding in me with this, or confiding in the chat. Yeah, you've mistaken me as an astrophysicist. Definitely not that guy. Bam. Magic. Magic, ladies and gentlemen. That's probably very penetrating to your audio. Bro, why are you spewing hate language, dog? What the fuck? That's not here. Perfectly symmetrical. Very nice. Beautiful. Anyways, well, thank you so much for chiming in. Yeah, this has been a very dope stream. Yeah, honestly, been good times. I think, yeah, but we're going to close the stream for this period. Yeah. How often do I microdose? Not often. I haven't microdosed for like a month and a half. Yeah, I'm very sober. I'm sober very often. I love shrooms, but yeah. Some people were not hugged as children. Yeah, babe, this is the thing. Like, let's close this off by agreeing where, yeah, bro, some people, you just need some fucking oxytocin in your life, dog. You need some oxytocin. Like, what's going on? Like, you need some hugs. You need some love. You need, some passionate love making with your romantic partner. You need some love, bro. You need to return back to love. Like, come on. So you have prolonged stretches of microdosing. Lately, it's been once in a while. Yeah, I've actually been feeling very attracted to reintegrating a nice microdose protocol. But I usually just do like every maybe week or two. I'll do a microdose of mushrooms. You know, devote my day to just relaxing, sitting with the mushrooms. But yeah, when I was younger, when I was, it depends on what I'm going through. Right now, my life has been very like very chill. You know, I got lots of love in my life. I'm succeeding in every metric of everything. But yeah, you know, if life's turmoilic, if you got really things you got to integrate, you know, integrating the shadows, yeah, it's like I would sit with mushrooms more frequently. You know, I've sat with mushrooms quite a lot, you know, over the last 15, 16 years. Like, really, I've spent a lot of time engaging in mushrooms. Yeah, very nice. Mushrooms are beautiful. Hell yeah. Anyways, thank you so much for chiming in. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. And yeah, outro time. If this content resonates with you, feel free to follow this channel if you're not subscribed. Yeah. Hi, are you beautiful because we do mushrooms? It's not that simple, but sure. Yeah, mushrooms is a part of is living an authentic truth. If you're living authentic and you're desiring to better yourself as a human being and evolve your consciousness, I think that does reflect very positively. Anyways, thank you so much for chiming in. If this content resonates with you, feel free to subscribe to this channel. We're on the mission to get 4,000 watch hours. And we're on track. Anyways, so thank you so much for chiming in. Much love. Honor yourself and honor each other. This hat just gets in the way of me doing this. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, friends. Much love.